Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Dave Rubinstein, editor-in-chief of ITOps Times, and this is an ITOps Times live micro webinar series, and we're going to be talking about what you need to know about internet resilience. So with me today is Mehdi Daoudi. He is the CEO of internet performance monitoring company Catchpoint. Mehdi, welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dave. It's a pleasure to chat with you again.
Yes, it's been a while since the pandemic, but always good to
Yes.
talk to you. Sure. So why don't we start with, where the internet is today, how it evolved and how it's different from it was in earlier times.
Well, the first thing I would say is it hasn't disappointed us, right? I think we came out of one of the biggest stress testing environment on the internet with the pandemic, and I'm very happy. I think that it has delivered on its promise of being resilient, of being capable of withstanding an enormous amount of load. And when you think about it, we overnight added video conferencing and Zooms and this and that on top
Right.
of it, and streaming at all hours of the day. And so, first, a huge congrats to the folks that literally make this happen on a day-to-day basis. The folks that drop cables under the sea, folks that are at the telecom companies that literally deliver throughout the world an amazing experience flawlessly for 2 3 years. So I think we have to give them kudos. I don't want to start thinking about the internet as like this commodity, which is like, yeah, it's like the telephone and you pick up. It's very fragile when you think about it. I mean, we just had a major outage a few days ago in the UK with the major ISP. There was the outage in Canada a few months ago with TELUS. So these things are still happening. It's still very fragile, but in the grand scheme of things, it did okay. The
Right.
internet, where it's evolving, though, when you think about schooling and doctors and telemedicine, these are things that we're never going to go back to the old days, right? But that
Mhm.
requires an internet that is delivering faster, better, more, even more resilient, better availability, better reachability, and then we're also seeing the advancements of new technologies like Starlink, for example. Amazon is also getting into that business where we're going to get like literally the internet beamed on us, and it's
Mhm.
amazing where we're going. So no more dead spots on your cell phone because you'll have a Starlink or an Amazon capability where your phone can automatically switch to this satellite internet kind of thing. So it's amazing. I'm very
Um,
jealous. I keep getting jealous of what our kids are going to play with in the next 5 to 10 years.
yeah. Wow. It's that's a lot there. So if you're a company that relies on the internet for your business, it seems like a lot of this stuff is really out of your control. So, how do you deal with, outages and things that can affect your business and really cost you a lot of money? So
Yeah.
what can companies do?
So every company relies on something else. Whether you're an airline company, you rely on the jet fuel that is delivered to the airport. If you are the army, when you think about like when an army goes and does things, the logistic nightmare that it is to feed people, bring food, water, toilets, all that stuff. It's a logistics thing, right? At the end of the day, all these problems are logistical issue. So
Mhm.
when it comes to the internet, you have to treat it as like a commodity or a source of something that can break, and you just need to be ready. You just need to be ready um, to have a plan in the event that there is a failure. There is a communication plan. There is like, is there a backup? Is there? So you just need to figure out all the things you need to do to make sure that you don't let your customers down. At the end of the day, making sure that you respect your customers, you respect their time, and give them alternatives if they need an alternative.
Mhm.
Um, but
So
yeah,
you're
go ahead.
I just wanted to your speaking was breaking up a little bit, and I was
Oh,
wondering if that has to do with the internet.
I don't know. Maybe it's my audio. Let me switch to another system. Uh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's great.
You see, it's
Absolutely.
resilience. I even have two headphones
Exactly.
just in
There you
case
go.
because stuff happens, as we say, right? So
Sure.
it's I think it's very important to have a backup plan. I think that's what resilience is, right? When you think
Mm.
about what the definition of resilient is the ability to deal with the blow, but then come back and bounce back and recover as fast as possible. So I think
Sure.
that's what every business needs to do. And when you think about the companies that did extremely well during the pandemic, for example, are the ones that had a backup plan, the ones that were very agile on their feet. Like they didn't close their stores, they just did something different online, for example, or different methods, right? So I think that's what resilience is all about: is having being able to deal with issues as quickly as possible.
Sure. It's like, if you think of the internet as being more of a utility, we have a lot of bad storms here on Long Island and power goes out for days at a time.
Right?
Uh, Many people we know have generators, so they'll
Yes.
just plug them right in and keep moving right along.
Yeah.
So, is part of resilience. So let's say if I'm with one cloud provider and one of their areas goes dark, then I have the backup of being able to jump onto another
Absolutely.
service.
Absolutely. And it can, you can have different layers of sophistication. Like for example, your friends, they might have like one generator or 15, or they might have solar and a diesel generator. So
Right.
in 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 a digital workspace, or in the world we live in with some of our customers, for example, is not relying on a single vendor. You can't have all your eggs in one basket. Having multiple content distribution networks, having multiple cloud providers. But at the same time, those things come at a very high cost. It's not just the infrastructure cost of paying a bill on AWS or Google or Microsoft Azure. It's also need to train your people to operate these two environments, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's not cheap. But if your entire livelihood depends on being up 24/7, 7 days a week, then that's the cost of doing business.
Mhm. Yep, got that for sure. So that's good. So tell me a little bit about the internet performance monitoring and how you guys do that.
Sure. I mean, the reason why it's all of this is important, and it goes to some of the fundamental beliefs we have as a company that we've had since we started it, is that the customer experience is the product. At the end of the day, uh, if you have a horrible user experience, customer experience, etc., you will lose customers. I think that's a fundamental truth that we can all agree with. The second thing is like, and I'm not talking as a techie here, but if we go back to our marketing mix, our marketing mix, there is price, promotion, placement, and I forgot the fourth P, but there is a fifth P in town, and that's the performance P, right? So on top of price, product, place, and promotion, people need to think about performance. That's extremely important. The other thing is like the expectations of people is growing at the exponential rate. So I don't know if you can I don't know if you can find people that are willing to wait 10 seconds for a website to load, or for booking
Mhm.
something online. We also saw the challenge with that with Ticketmaster, right? I mean, you don't want to also end up on a Senate hearing just because your
Sure.
website is slow and crashing, right? I don't think there is a resilience plan for that, being humiliated on C-SPAN. So
Right.
you don't want that. The internet is complex. As I said, it's a series of tube. You and I talked about this many years ago. Those tubes are very fragile, and now you're adding like cables under sea that are attacked by sharks, all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
so this complexity is growing at an exponential rate. And what we try to do at Catchpoint is we try to help our customers be able to paint a picture of what's going on the internet, because the internet is a bunch of things. It's your DNS providers, it's your content distribution network, it's your cloud providers. When you think at any website today, if you go to any website, behind that pretty web page that shows up on your mobile browser, on your desktop, there are probably anywhere between 2 to 1,000 requests behind that. There are
Mhm.
2,000 things that have to happen in perfect orchestration in milliseconds for that web page to do its job. And so our job is to help our customers figure out Is there a problem on the internet? If so, where? Is it a network issue? Is it a provider issue? Is it a cloud provider issue? And so then they can get back to business as quickly as possible, so they can get resilient as quickly as possible. If you know where the problem is, it's like, dealing with the human body. If you have a headache, well, a headache can be caused by a lot of things. You want to narrow it down as quickly as possible so you can administer the medicine as quickly as possible. So that's what we do with the internet performance monitoring. And we can no longer ignore the fact that the internet is where everything is running these days. I mean, I think the what happened with the pandemic has opened the door. I have an 85-year-old dad who orders stuff online, the guy that couldn't understand computers 5 years ago, right? Because there's no choice.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. All right. Mehdi Daoudi, CEO of Catchpoint. Thanks so much for your time today. Great conversation. This is a wonderful way to kick off our 6-part series on internet resilience. Folks, if you want to tune with us again, it'll be April 20th at 1 p.m. We'll be talking with Gerardo Dada, who's the CMO at Catchpoint, talking about introducing IPM and how it can help your organization. So until next time, I'm Dave Rubinstein, Editor-in-Chief of ITOps Times. So long for now. And thanks, Mehdi. Good to talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye.